I'm live. What is up, OGs? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the live stream. This is episode 4. Let me just adjust my screen a little bit. I'm actually 3 minutes late. A little bit of time for everyone to jump in. Let me play around with this. So, hope you guys are doing well. It's Thursday, and Thursday usually means I'm back from what do you call that again? Kata practice. Yeah, so went to kata practice because I'm doing. Hey, Saad, how's it going, bro? Happy to see you, man. So, as I was saying, kata practice is going good. The sensei that usually uh, gives us a whole bunch of crap, me and my partner. Well, he's actually being really nice. I think we're past the like the startup phase. You know, the phase where like you know absolutely nothing and you absolutely suck. So I think he's really impatient. You know, at that stage of the program. But now that we're getting a little bit what do you call it, more advanced, so to speak. Now he's less stressed. Now he knows that we actually know the kata. Now it's just about practicing, timing, refining, all that stuff. I was happy to start live. Yeah, awesome, man. Thanks. Yeah, it's really cool that I think that as I keep doing this every Thursday at 9 o'clock, there's going to be more and more people. And like, that's the idea, right? Because if I just do it randomly like that, it doesn't really make any sense. Oh, guys, what? Hey, Ricardo. Thanks for hopping in, man. Appreciate it. So let me just adjust this. What was I saying again? Oh yeah, so this week it was the first time that I started doing lives at the gym at the club. So I got my coaches okay on that, so I could set up the camera, go live, and during the randoris. So on Monday we did like an hour of randori. So in total, well, there's only about 40 minutes of footage. Anyways, so I'm going to do that as often as I can. Like every time I go practice and there's randori, I'm going to, set up the camera so you guys can check it out. And of course, when I'm fighting, when I'm doing my sparring, my randori, then obviously I can't be chit chatting too much because I'm busy trying to win, and or not get my ass kicked, all depending on who it is. And yeah, then in between, that's when I can come and talk a little bit more. And so that's pretty cool. You guys get to like see that. Yeah. So that's that. And eventually, what I want to do is I'd like to get my kata partner on on the stream, right? Not really to do a podcast, but really to do something for you guys where we're going to like look at a kata competition and we're going to break it down, and you guys are going to see like what we're working on so that we could so we could do the kata competition in November. Because if we do the kata competition in November, and first of all, we could actually win medals. And if we don't win medals, at least if we do okay and we get enough points, we get accredited for a kata. So that means we don't have to present the kata when we do the black belt exam in December. So it takes away the stress, because if you do everything on one go, it's a lot. So you have to do like your kata. Then on top of that, you have to demonstrate all like technique, the gokyo. And then on top of that, you have to do, what do you call it? The sparring, But yeah, so that's what we're doing. Anyways, I'm yapping here. Hey guys, so what do you guys want to see? Do you guys want to see me break down Bruce Lee's only sparring footage, or do you want to shit on Rokas again? Because I was talking to Shadi this morning actually, and we're talking about like the black belt exam, and he got his black belt and all that good stuff, and he got it at the Kodokan, and the difference between getting it there versus getting it in France or getting it here in Canada. And yeah. So then that made me remember that, oh, it's true. These guys like Shadi and Rokas actually met up at one point, and they did a collab together, and they did some sparring together. So the video is called like Judo versus Aikido Real Sparring, and it'd be fun to. Sorry about that, guys. So it'd be fun to break that down. I was watching it and I was like, yeah, this would be fun. But we kind of already like shitted on Rokas a little bit last week, for his like his BJJ versus judo video. So I want to see what you guys want. So pick between those two. That's what I had in mind. Let's hear. Saad, how many years or month? Oh, I keep forgetting. I got to do this. Ta-da! Bro, how many years or months to be pro MMA, and which one earn more money, MMA or boxing or kickboxing? Dude, boxing. Like if I had to start all over again, and I wanted to make money being a combat athlete, I would do boxing. Like, of course, I'm a martial artist, and I would much rather do MMA because I feel it's more fun and it's more like real fighting. You have a lot of tools. You're not restricted. You could do pretty much everything. Especially if you go to Asia. If you go to ONE FC, you get the soccer kick the guy in the face. You get the head stomp. You knee him when he's down. That changes the whole trajectory of the fight. Like, I think I might have mentioned this in the last stream, but there's a lot of things that you can't do in sports BJJ if you just start throwing strikes. And one way to nullify that is like elbows to the face when you're on the ground, like knees to the body, knees to the face, all that stuff, kicking someone in, like soccer kicking somebody. I mean, that changes everything. Anyways, what was I saying again? Yeah, so boxing, there's more money. And I would say that how many years or months to be pro MMA? Well, it's going to depend, right? Because if you want to go pro in MMA, usually the way it works, from my understanding, is that you have to, well, do amateur fights. But before you do amateur fights, you got to be training for at least, I would say, anywhere between 6 months to a year in MMA. Like, it depends what kind of background you have, but let's say at least a year, right? 6 months to a year. Then from there, you start you start fighting in amateur, and then amateur. I think that you need to rack up at least a good anywhere between 10 to 20 fights, something like that, right? Unless you have like a lot of competition experience in a prior sport. Like if you have a judo base, a wrestling base, or kickboxing base, or something like that, or you come from a different boxing sport, then okay. Oh, I see. So you have zero background. So zero background, I would say that if you go to a MMA gym, if that's a thing, if you're able to do that, then you would want to go. I would say yes, about 6 months to a year. I would say at least a year, to be honest. Like if you have no zero background, at least a year of MMA training, because there's a lot of things that you got to do there, right? You got to learn how to box, kickbox, clinch work. You got to learn how to do takedowns. You got to learn how to do some BJJ, and all of this has to be adapted for MMA. So you got to be like boxing for MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai for MMA, wrestling, takedowns for MMA, submissions and all that, BJJ for MMA. So it's gonna take you like a year, to really get a handle on that. And then after that, you got to start competing. So you would have to compete at least, I would say, 10 to 20 times, right? Amateur, and have obviously like a decent record. I mean, you have to be good, and then you go pro, right? So that's it. Once you go pro, from my understanding, it's like a business, Now that's if you're starting from zero. So I hope that answered that question. Wait, let's see here. How many years to be pro MMA or first fight in MMA? Well, I think I answered that already. But if how many years to be a pro MMA? Well, like if you're starting from zero, well, how long? Okay, so you got 1 year of training minimum, and then you got 10 to 20 fights. So how many fights can you take? Let me just pull out the calculator. How long would it take you to do 10, 20 fights? It depends how often you fight, right? But if you fight like once every 2 months or 3 months, then it's gonna go relatively fast. So let's see here. Like my math is kind of fuzzy. So if you were to fight, let's say once every two months, that means you would fight 6 times a year. 6 times a year. So if you want 20 fights divided by 6, yeah, in about 3 years, like if you do well, then yeah, you should go pro, right? Like I'm not sure how it works if you want to go pro, but I mean, when you go pro, it just means that now you're a business and people are going to pay you to fight, right? That's the definition of a professional. So if someone's going to pay you to fight, then like they want there to be some kind of show, right? They're not going to pay you if you um well, I was going to say if you like if you completely suck, but that might not be true. They might pay you just like kind of like to be a tomato can for somebody. But yeah, so like if you have like a record, like if you do 10, 20 fights, let's say you do 20 fights and you got like 10 wins, 10 losses, then you see you're not that good. So maybe don't go pro. But if you do go pro, you just be like maybe like a tomato can, for other guys to like beat you up and stuff and to make their name off of you. So, okay, you know what? Let's do the Bruce Lee thing. Let me play with my screen for a second. Okay, share screen. All right, well, definitely going to share this one. Perfect. And, if I share this one here, no, add this to screen. Add this screen, remove. Okay. Stop sharing. Let me share something else here. Hey Aiden, yeah, absolutely, man. What's your MMA question? Okay, got it. So while I wait for your question to pop in, I'm going to go look for that Bruce Lee sparring footage. Oh yeah, and guys, feel free to ask anything you want. You can ask anything you want, and of course, I'll do my best to answer you guys. Let me see here. Bruce Lee sparring, and the reason why I want to do this is because I'm actually getting pretty good at striking at this point. Like I've been doing boxing for like about 4 months now. And I've been doing kickboxing, Muay Thai for like a year and a half practically, or maybe even 2 at this point. So and MMA as well for maybe the past year or so. So I'm like pretty comfortable with this whole striking thing, and I understand a lot more. That's why now when I look at sparring footage, I could kind of like I could break it down in a proper way. I feel right. Okay, so let's see here. There's a couple of guys who've analyzed this, who've done breakdowns. So let's go with, let's see, this one right here. Nap Studios. Okay, but before I get started, let me. Bro, which one more painful, MMA or boxing? And if I'm good at striking in BJJ without wrestling, is it okay? Okay, so let's start with the first one. Which is more painful? I would say, hmm, you know, okay. There's a couple of things there. So boxing is more damaging to your brain, 100%, right? MMA, okay, not as damaging to the head because you have a lot more tools. Like the more tools you have, the more variety of technique that you're able to use in a fight, the more like um diverse. It's more spread out. The pain is more spread out, right? But boxing, it's less painful, more damage in in more brain damage in boxing, but more pain in the body overall in MMA, right? Just because you're grappling, you're clinching, you're pulling on a guy's neck, you're trying to do submissions, you're kicking the legs, all that stuff. So MMA is probably more painful. Boxing is more detrimental to your brain. So that's the thing. But there's more money in boxing though. And like you could train in a very intelligent way as well. People are catching on to that now. They're not as meathead as before when it comes to training in boxing and just doing it hardcore and just punching each other out. But there are clubs like that, but there's more clubs now that are not like that. They're being very scientific about their approach so that people don't turn into a tard, right? Now, for the other part of your question, if I'm good at striking in BJJ without wrestling, is it okay? I would say in this, like to compete in MMA, like you're taking a risk. That's what, like, what that makes me think of? It makes me think of Paddy the Baddy. So Paddy the Baddy, from what I've seen, like doesn't have amazing wrestling, but very good BJJ, and he's crazy. Like he just goes, and he has like obviously some striking, but his striking is not like the best. He kind of leaves himself wide open, but he did look a lot better this time around. Like when he was preparing for his last fight in the locker room, punching the pads, it looked pretty good. And we didn't get to see much striking in that fight because it was a grappling match essentially. But you see, he was getting taken down, and he still managed to do okay. And he won the fight and with his BJJ and all that, even though the other guy, I forgot his name, but he was a superior wrestler. But Paddy still was able to beat him. But I would say that if you're good at striking, yeah, but you know what? You want to be. I think that you definitely can be good. Like for MMA, like yeah, you could, but you still have to understand wrestling to a certain degree, like how to defend the takedowns and all that. Like you don't need to be like a wrestler in the sense that like it doesn't have to be your style to want to take the guy down, but you have to be able to defend takedowns. And then of course, if you're able to stuff the takedowns, then you're able to keep it standing and do the striking. And of course, if you do get taken down, then you're good enough to to threaten the guy and to mess him up with BJJ. So I think yeah, I hope that made sense. All right, on to the next one. A lot of questions. Awesome, man. Hey guys, don't forget to like the video if you guys are here. That helps me out a lot. Helps the algorithm, promotes the this whole thing. So let's see now. Oh, yeah. Okay. Got it there. All right. There's your question. Aiden Mole. All right. I'm 14 and I do kickboxing, taekwondo. Cool. Kickboxing, taekwondo. I used to do taekwondo too when I was a kid and started wrestling. I'm wondering what else I should do. I also have some clips. I'm trying to get, I also have some clips. I'm trying to get feedback on what? On feedback on on that I have posted, but I don't know anyone who will. Oh yeah, sure. Send me the link, man. I can take a look at it right now if you want. Instead of doing the Bruce Lee thing, then send me the link in a private chat, right? And then from there, I'll put it up here and we'll take a look at it. If your clip is on YouTube, that is, right? But if you do it, if you don't have it already uploaded on YouTube, because you could upload it on YouTube and put it as unlisted. So then no one can actually find your video unless they have that specific link. With that said, even if you upload a video, like unless you're doing it in a certain way, like you know how to rank your videos properly, use tags and all that stuff, because there's a lot to it. No one's gonna see your video anyway. Trust me. The first time I posted a video, nobody ghost town. But yeah, you could definitely I definitely give you feedback on that if you want. If you don't have that already set up, like already uploaded on YouTube, you could do it for next week. And when I'm doing these lives like this, then I'll take a look at it. Like if I'm not doing a podcast, right? If I'm doing a podcast, then I gotta focus on whoever I'm talking with. But I'd be happy to do it, no problem, man. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Okay, so Aiden again. What do you think I should do other than what I'm currently doing to up my game in MMA ring? Oh, okay. Well, let me go back to what you're doing. So kickboxing, boxing, taekwondo. Oh, that's good. That's good. Started wrestling. Well, you're definitely gonna need some BJJ, right? Because you have to like not get submitted. Um, I would add boxing to that, man. Boxing. I know you're already doing kickboxing and taekwondo, but definitely, like I don't know if you're kickboxing, because when people say kickboxing now, they usually include Muay Thai as well, right? But you're gonna want to know how to do Muay Thai, and you're definitely gonna want to like develop hands as well, because the problem with when you do kickboxing, only kickboxing, your hands aren't as good as they could be. If you added boxing to that, wow, it would take it to another levels. Definitely add some boxing. Wrestling is awesome. You need some so boxing, right? Muay Thai, if it's not already in there, and you need some jits, man. Like that's the fundamentals of what do you call it, of MMA. Okay, answer that question already. Notana, or is it Notan AI or Notana I? Hey, I'm 21-year-old and I'm about to start judo this Saturday. Ooh, awesome! That's right up my alley. Any pointers in terms of where to start? I'm not sure what you mean by that, buddy. Like, you mean where to start, as in what school, or where to start, like what to focus on? Well, here's the thing. If you show up to a school, so I'm going to answer that question in those two parts, right? If you don't know where to start, well, actually, you're saying that you're starting on Saturday, so you already have a school. In terms of where to start, yeah, break falling is going to be the number one thing. You have to learn how to break fall properly, and if you practice break falling and you master that as fast as possible, like it shouldn't take you too long, but you really put an emphasis on that, then what it is that you're not going to be afraid to fall. If you're not afraid to fall, then when you get off balance, you'll fall correctly, so you won't hurt yourself, and you'll be able to accept the falls. Because a lot of times when people get hurt is that they don't know how to fall. They're afraid to fall, so they resist. So when you resist, what happens is that your partner goes harder. And when your partner goes harder and you're resisting and you're in like a funny position, that's when that's when things tend to snap, right? Learn how to fall, like really focus on break falling. That's going to help you a lot. And yeah, so that would be my one big advice. If I only had one thing to that I could point out. All right, next one. Aiden, the damage is all over, but less intense. Oh yeah, definitely. Boxing, you turn into a vegetable quick, if you don't know what you're doing. Mhm. And how important is it to get yoked up prior to mastering technique? Hmm. Hmm. I think that technique te- get yoked up. So I'm assuming you're talking about getting big and strong, right? So definitely. Wait, let me just try make sure I understand the question properly. How important is it to get yoked up prior to mastering technique? Hmm. I would say that you want to focus on technique, ideally both at the same time, right? Because if you have good technique, you can even make it work better if you have strength, right, behind it. But strength should always be backing up technique. And so getting big and strong is important, right? Because it's like armor. It's like an exoskeleton. It protects you, and at the same time it's there for you when you need to put a little bit of strength in your technique. Because here's the thing, if two guys have good technique, who's going to win? The stronger guy. Hey Ricardo, how's it going, buddy? Let's see here. Is training MMA better than just training boxing or Muay Thai for the streets? Heard you can't really get good at MMA fast because you're learning everything. That is true, man. That is true. If you start off like just doing MMA and you don't have like a background in any, one discipline prior to coming in, it takes a while, man. It takes a while, you know, because it's a different it's a different skill set altogether. It's a different sport, right? So, but for your other question, is training MMA better than just training boxing or Muay Thai for the streets? Um, Well, here's the thing with the streets. Like, you don't want to go on your back. You don't want to go on the ground in the streets. So you see MMA, like in MMA, you can go to the ground because it's just one on one in a cage on like, okay, it's a canvas, but it's not concrete. So yeah, you could take the guy down and you can, take your time against the wall and all that. But like for the streets, I would recommend boxing or Muay Thai. That would actually be better. But MMA, because MMA it's a sport now. Of course, you'll have like more skills, but in a street fight, you don't want to go to the ground. You want to be able to not get taken down, which is important as well, right? If ever like the guy is trying to take you down, but at the same time, you always want to be on top, and you don't really want to go to the ground anyway. Like you want to be able to keep it standing, knock the guy out, clinching, throwing the guy, and then having him fall on his head or whatever. But you want to stay on top if that happens and beat him up, and then like you want to get up as fast as you can, right? Because it's a straight thing. All right, let's see here. Next one. Aiden, I'd like to do something like boxing because all the kicking is great and is my favorite. House, right? It's not great for. Yeah, you see, here's the thing, guys. In when it comes to kicking in the streets, you don't want to kick too high. Like usually, there's a rule of thumb that people people talk about. People say is that you want to kick below the waist. So you want to kick the guy's knees. You can kick the legs. You can kick his balls. But you don't want to kick too high because the problem with kicking high is that well, if you kick high and the guy catches the kick, right? Let's say you smack him and like you crack him right here, but then your foot gets stuck or whatever for whatever reason, because you kicked him and he went like that and you grabbed your leg at the same time. Guess what? You're falling down because you're on one leg. So you don't necessarily want to kick higher than the waist, okay? But I mean, and also like if you're wearing jeans, it might be hard unless you got like stretchy jeans, right? And unless you really train, and that's a conversation I was having with Red Chucks. Was it 2 weeks ago? like unless you train in your street clothes and in your shoes, right, for like a street fighting self defense kind of thing, it's gonna be different, man. Because when you train at the gym, you're barefoot, you're comfortable, you're warmed up. It's very different, right? So that's why, like, yeah, kicking, it could be dangerous. That's why, like, if even though I do a little bit of Muay Thai, right, kick and kickboxing, obviously, and boxing, and like I wouldn't necessarily try to kick somebody in the face in the street. With all the skill set I have now, I don't need to. Like, I'll knock the guy out, or I'll come in close, I'll kick his balls, I'll kick his legs, I'll work it, I'll work it, and of course, if he bends down, because let's say I knee him in the gut and he bends over and his face is there, well, then I'm gonna kick it. But if the guy's standing nice and tall, it's not my first go-to move, if that makes sense. What to focus on? I think I already answered that question. Hello, my bro. If they let you to choose only one striking with wrestling or striking with BJJ for MMA, what would you choose and why? Only one striking with wrestling or striking? Oh, okay, okay. Well, for MMA, man, for MMA, it would have to be Muay Thai, man, because it's more complete. You have more tools. You have the clinch, you have elbows, you have knees. So I think that in itself, like, did you guys know, like, the classic Brazilian duo, right, for MMA is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai. Like, look at Anderson Silva, Muay Thai, BJJ, that's it. And then look at, and he's like one of the greatest of all time. And then you have Jose Aldo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai. You see, just with that, pretty much covers it. So if I had to pick only one striking, then it would be Muay Thai, right? Aiden. Okay, I'll send it in a minute. Yes, sir. You do that. Please don't play the sound from the video. It's bad. Yeah, no problem. I'll cut the sound off. Like, if it's bad sound, I don't want to hear that. I don't want everyone to hurt their ears. Man, when I fight, if I get punched in the nose, I quit. How to deal with that? Like, how to continue without feeling the pain? Well, like, a thing that I learned recently is that when you do a sparring session, you want to get properly warmed up, and you put Vaseline on your face, like on your forehead here and under your eyes, your nose. But after that, what you want to do is, once you're properly warmed up and all that, you want to press on your nose with your glove, right? You press on your nose like this, you crush it. Okay, you don't hit yourself, but you put pressure here, and you put pressure with your with the glove on your face like that. Okay, and that way, it starts to wake up your nervous system, so to speak. So you're already feeling it. You know how when you see guys get ready for for their fight, like they like slap their face and then they really hit their, and really just to, like, because you don't want the first hit in the face to come from that guy to, like, wake you up. You already want to be like, okay, like, you already want to feel that pressure on your face and all. And let's see, let me just go back to the question here. Well, it's always going to suck. Listen, the truth is, it's always going to suck when you get punched in the face, right? That's never going to change. So ideally, you want to have your hands there and you want to, like, move out of the way, parry, block, and all that. But I mean, it's going to happen. Sometimes you just go, you get caught. That's the nature of the sport. So what happens is you just get used to it. At one point, it's like, yeah, okay, you're able to get hit, accept it, and stay calm, and then keep focusing, move on. And obviously, if the guy's hitting you like that, then you might want to keep your hands a little bit higher, keep your forehead a little bit lower, and move, use your movement, right? So movement, it's not really the head, it's your feet, your hips, and then your hands are there to get out of the way and block that. right? But yeah, it's always going to suck, you know, but you just get used to it. You get desensitized. That's what I'm saying. John, one thing for you youngings, akins, asking about streets. Whatever you do, it won't matter. Your confident attitude, posture, nonverbal cues will keep people away from you. Violence sucks. Oh yeah, violence. Like, yeah, that's why, like, guys, you gotta. The more. That's why I always tell guys, like, man, just like don't overthink it. Just train all the time. Train all the time. And if you train all the time, what's gonna happen is that, and you focus on actually getting good, right? Next thing you know, even though at the beginning your first objective might be like self-defense and all that, but then at one point you're going to be like, and if you really enjoy the process and you're getting good, you don't even really have time to get into street fights and all that. Like your confidence, like John is saying, your confidence is going to change. People feel that about you. There's a certain energy, a certain way you walk, a certain way you talk, when you know you can handle yourself. And yeah, and also, like, I feel as though, if you don't go to places where, like there's trouble, potential trouble, like all the time, it's not going to happen that often, man. Like I used to get into a lot of fights, but I was always looking for it at that age. I was always in bars with guys who drank and then wanted to get into fights and all that, and it was always over silly stuff as well. So anyways, okay, something sucks. Let's see here. Oh, okay, Aiden, I only have a highlight video. What's this right now? But hopefully it works. Yeah, sure. Send it in the private, and I'll check it out. I don't have wrestling because I'm just starting out. You mean no wrestling background? Yeah, cool. No worries. Okay, some fighters, they get punched in the chin and they continue without they getting knocked. Is it because of their jaw muscles or neck conditioning? Um, yes, I think it's because jaw muscles, neck conditioning, and but I also think because they're still young, right? So what I mean by that is that you could be young and then you could have a glass jaw at one point if you just keep letting people smash into your face, right? Think of it this way: if your jaw has like a limit of 1 million punches that it could take before it completely just turns into mush, then the more times you get hit in the face, you get hit, bam, 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 into your chin, right? The more the countdown begins. So now it's like, okay, you're here. That's like, and then when it goes completely to zero, what happens is that we just like, we just blow on your chin like that, and you pass out. Like you could see that with a lot of fighters who, Chuck Liddell was actually an example of this. Like towards the end of his career, he got hit so many times, probably in practice, like he would go really hard, I imagine, and of course in the ring, that at one point, like he used up all the shots that he's able to absorb with his chin. So then at that point, it doesn't take much. It takes absolutely nothing. They just get like just a little like this and down, because the brain is so damaged at that point, right? So this can get stronger. The bones here, the muscles around it, your traps and all that, but the brain, no. So the brain, if you damage the brain, there's a certain limit to it. Then after that, you just go ding, and it goes, and then you fall down like a sack of potatoes. So you might be thinking of Rotang. For those of you guys who don't know Rotang is a Muay Thai fighter. He fights for ONE FC, and he just stands there and he lets people crack him in the jaw, and he's like, "Yeah, more," and he just like walks forward on them and all that. And I think that's gonna wear out eventually, right? It's just a matter of time. If he that's what I think, unless he's some kind of freak of nature. But I don't think he's a freak of nature. I just think, yeah, he might be tougher, than some people, and he got the muscles and all that there to like stabilize the head so that the brain doesn't shake that much. But there's a limit to that, and also he's bracing for it too. I just thought about that now. Like when you're getting punched, but you're like like you're nice and tense here. Like it doesn't move as much as if you get caught and you don't see it coming. It's the shots that you don't see coming that mess you up a lot. But I think it's entertaining to watch, but it would not be. It's listen, being tough is normal in this sport. Everyone who practices this sport eventually becomes tough, but you don't have to prove it that way, right? You don't have to prove it by I could eat a shot, like dude, whatever. And Rotang, you got to remember he's getting hit by people his size because we're fighting. He's fighting in a cage. There's weight divisions. There's so it's like a safe environment, so to speak. But imagine like a guy with 50, 70 pounds on him. That's a lot heavier. Punches him here. He ain't gonna be taking a lot of those, right? So like at his weight class, he's able to handle it because he's conditioned and all that. But it's not. It's kind of. I don't see that as it's entertaining. It's fun to watch, and it's kind of impressive in a crazy kind of way. But it's not impressive in the sense that like, oh, this guy has skill. It's like, yeah, he has skill, but I mean, that part of it, just standing there and getting hit, it's like, no, the real skill is getting hit and not getting hit, right? So that's my take on it. I love jiu-jitsu, but I feel phobia if someone put me in kimura. What tips you get rid of the fear from kimura? Well, that's easy, man. I think that, well, first of all, it's about not getting into that situation to begin with, right? So what I mean by that is that, and sometimes when you get caught, it's done. Like if someone slaps on like a rear naked choke, it's done. It's like you might as well tap. Like, yeah, you could resist a little bit, but whatever. And also a kimura, well, you just tap. Like if you see the guy has a lock and it's checkmate, you just tap, start again. But ideally, you don't want to get to that position to begin with. You want to defend, you want to learn how to defend that lock before he locks his hands, right? Once he locks his hand and he locks it into place, I mean, it's over, right? So there's not like, if you don't know how to get out of it or you don't think you can get out of it, just tap and then start again. So that's it. Let me just put my face back here. There we go. Yeah, because I was going to do the video thing, but you guys are asking questions, and I'd much rather interact with you guys than just you guys watching me analyze video, which is still fun, but so I have to take more time, take more punches to have strong chin. No, don't do that. You want to condition your chin. So, you do that by, you could bite down on a towel, right? Like if you bite down like this, like you grab a piece of towel, and stay there for like a minute, like that's going to like exercise. Or you could wrap a towel, like tie it to a weight or something and go like that if you want, so that, you're contracting your jaw muscles. You want to, like work out your neck and your traps and all that. But no, you don't want to get punched in the chin, man. It's not how you condition the chin, because you'll die. Oh, that was a joke. Yeah. John, training for a hit is found in a lot of arts. Hardening the tendons and bone was the purpose of golden belt in Kung Fu. CMA, Chinese. Is there anything similar to that in judo, Japanese arts in general? In karate, yeah, definitely. I know they condition themselves, their hands and their feet, and because karate is the way of the empty hand, basically. That's as far as I know. Okay. Yep. Karate. What else? Kyokushin karate, but that's karate once again. So those guys, they condition. But yeah, I think I feel it's more, and obviously Muay Thai, right? Like the Thais are very, very conditioned as well. And then of course you got the Chinese martial arts that they condition a lot as well. Yeah, so that's that. Sammy, how much movement does a person need in a day to stay fit enough for martial arts? Good question. How much movement does a person need in a day? I wouldn't say in a day, but in a week. For martial arts. Okay. We're talking martial arts, so I'm going to assume you're talking about combat, right? Like for fighting. So for fighting, I would suggest that you need to move at least, let's say, 7 days a week. Yeah, I would say at least. Let's see now. I'm just thinking regarding myself, how many sessions I do a week of training. So me, I'm like at let's see now, Monday. So I got the judo. Tuesday, I got that. So, oh man, you got to move at least anywhere between, I would say, yeah, 5 to 10 hours a week. Yeah, 5 to 10 hours a week, right? Something like that. Because I do about, I would say, what, Monday judo, right? Lift weights. Okay, then so that's boom, 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 boom. Yeah, son. Yeah, man. Like something honestly, like 6 to 12 hours probably. I would say. Yeah, that's just off the top of my head like that. But definitely, when you say move though, I think you need to move in the sense of like self defense. Sorry, I mean martial arts. Like you want to actually practice a martial art. So for you to be fit for martial arts, you have to do martial arts. So how many times should you do martial arts? As much as possible. But at the minimum, 2 times a week. One time is a joke. Two is like, okay, you can still make progress, right? But the more the better, right? Aiden, how do I send the link? Yeah, send it in the private chat. Can you try that? Yeah. Imagine if I train 10 years MMA, do you think I will still lose or big chance of winning? Well, what do you mean? Like, do you win? Well, lose, like win or lose, like in what context? Like, I'm not sure. You mean like a street fight? Like, of course, if you've been training 10 years in MMA, you're not going to lose a street fight against a dude that has no training. But if you mean like in a cage, well, it's going to depend on your opponent. Because even if you train 10 years and he trained 10 years, then it's going to be the guy who fights the best at that moment in time, right? Any exercise to increase grip strength? Oh yeah, I'll show you guys a really cool one. Let me just grab my black belt. Okay, so I'm going to show you something. Okay, and so what you do is this. This is one way to get really strong grip strength. So you fold your belt like this. After you fold your belt, you grab it like this and you twist it really hard. So you have one that's twisting down. This one is twisting down like that. And this one is twisting up. So you're going like this. All right. Now, what you want to do is you want to hold that. You want to keep that contraction for about I would say a minute and a half. Yeah. So what you want to do is the first 30 seconds, you want to go. You're warming up, so you want to go like 50%. Then the next 30 seconds, you want to go like 70%, and the last 30 seconds, you want to go 100%, like as strong as you can, right? And then you're going to see after that, when you're done, switch the other side. So you're going like this. Now, then you go like this. You do the exact same thing, right? And you're going to see that's going to get your grip really strong, because then you have the crushing grip like this. But you remember, your hands have to be able to open as well. You have muscles on this side, not just here, right? So you have this here, but you want this as well. So when you're going like this, it's all the muscles here in the back, so to speak. And then when you go like this, it's all the muscles here. So that, just those exercises alone are gonna get your grip, your forearms, and your fingers pretty strong. And then another thing that you could do is you want pinching grip too. So you could hold like a dumbbell or something, even a glass, like something heavy, and you're like pinching like that, and just hold it. You grab a dumbbell and just hold it like that, right? That's for pinching grip. Then this is going to help with the crushing grip, and then you want your hand to be open too, right? So this right here, just with the belt, you can get really good grip strength. And yep, that's one way to do it. That's how I do it. Obviously, you could do there's a whole bunch of stuff you could do, but I like that one because it's like convenient. I could do it anywhere, right? I could do it while I'm sitting down here talking to you guys. I could be like crushing this shit. So my age is 23. If I want to join the UFC, if there's a chance or I'm too late, always a chance, but you know, you'd have to start training and start getting into fights, man. Like getting fights, amateur fights, right? Because you want to get into UFC. Well, like you kind of have to get discovered. Like you have to do amateur fights, then you have to go pro, and then when you go pro, you're not going straight to the UFC, because you could be pro and then become a professional in like a smaller organization. And you got to perform well. You got to win. You got to be the champion in that organization. Maybe in one organization, then another one, and then you have to get noticed, and then of course they have to recruit you. So I wouldn't say it's too late, but I mean, it's something that, for the most part, I think that you have to dedicate your life to. So I'm not sure that if that's something you want to do, but it's never too late. But you'd have to put in the work, and you have to understand like the timeline and how it's done, right? Like, I'm not an expert, but that's my understanding so far of it, is that you want to, because in your case, you have no MMA fights. Well, and you don't have any background, so you have to start training in MMA. So if you start training in MMA, it's going to take you a year, you know, unless your coaches decide that, okay, you're good to go, right? But you have to feel confident as well to a certain degree. So then you got to get in there. You got to get like 10, 20 fights, amateur, right? You got to get that amateur experience, because when you go and you get your ass beat or you beat ass, then you're going to go back to your gym and you're going to be like, oh, okay, this is what I need to work on. You know, my grappling, oh, my takedown defense, oh, okay, my boxing, my kickboxing, whatever. So then you have to go through it. You have to get experience. And then when it's time, then you go pro. And then you go pro. You're not going to go UFC pro right away. You're just going to be going pro in a smaller organization. And then so you got to perform there. You perform well there, and you become you have a lot of highlights, a good record and everything. And then you might be able to get to the UFC, right? So you see how like it's a process, man. It's not just like bang, you know. But it's not, 23 is not that old. But there's more and more people now that are starting MMA younger. So you want to get started if that's your goal. Would it be too much to attend kickboxing class in the morning and do BJJ in the evening? Nope, not at all, man. I don't see no problem with that. You do kickboxing, you know, it's standing up. BJJ, it's on the floor. It's not like if you're doing kickboxing and in kickboxing, right? That might be a little bit too much because, you know, you're giving your body a beating, kind of, maybe. But it depends on what kind of training you're doing. Like, are you doing you know, like pad work, sparring, you know, whatever, conditioning, you know, type of drills. So no, I don't see that as a problem at all. As long as you're able to handle it, then just do it. You'll figure it out. Sometimes we tend to overthink things and we're like, oh, can I do this? Try it. You'll see. But from where I'm standing, kickboxing BJJ at night, you're good. You know, Important thing is that you're well rested and you're able to push through, right? Like the last thing you want to do is that. So there's a fine line between being, you know, like actually being careful because okay, I'm tired and I don't want to go there and get hurt, and then being just kind of like lazy about it. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we're like, I wanna, yeah, I did kickboxing in the morning. Now it's time to go to be. I don't really feel like it, you know. So you have to be able to differentiate between like feeling like doing something and being not feeling like doing something and actually being able to do it. So if that's the case, anyways, I'm a little bit off topic there. No, no, I'm the cage. I'm not sure what you mean. Yeah, you're in the cage. I'm not sure for what, but okay. Okay, so let's see here. I think catch wrestling is really interesting. Imagine combining catch wrestling, judo, BJJ, and sambo for the grappling side of things. Yeah, catch wrestling is pretty cool, man. They got some funky submissions, you know, from all sorts of angles and all that. I remember there was a catch wrestling club that I around this area. They weren't in Montreal, but I think in the surrounding. Anyways, yeah, catch wrestling is cool. Wrestling, judo, BJJ, and sambo. Oh yeah, you know I find for myself personally at this stage, I find judo, wrestling, and BJJ. Um, it's really it makes for a very complete grappler in my opinion. You know, and it's also more common. You know, like catch wrestling and sambo, at least where I'm at, it's not like I think we have one club, one catch wrestling club. I'm not even sure if it's in Montreal. I think it might be like a little bit outside of Montreal kind of thing, right? And then we got like one sambo club. So, but wrestling, judo, and BJJ, it's there's a lot more of it. Even though wrestling, there's not a lot, but there's still a lot more than the two other things. Just wash your clothes by hand. Pretty much, yeah. That's and yeah, you get like really good forearm strength as well because your grip strength is correlated with your forearm as well, right? Like if you get really strong grip, well, guess what? Like all the muscles in here, because that's what contracts. That's what makes your hand contract. It'll be good, man. Yeah, and sometimes like that's the thing. Like I'm a big proponent at this point in my life of time static contraction and doing like high intensity work and doing it for very uh, short periods of time. You know, so I don't even work out a lot. Like I work out like once or twice a week. You know, I mean like lifting weights. That's all I need, honestly. Like because I do so much other stuff that I need time to recover, man. And you know, like I can't be lifting weights like 6 days a week when I'm doing martial arts like ten times a week. Like it's insane, you know, the body's gonna break down. All right, next one. Actually, washing blankets down would be. I don't know how to do private chat. Yeah. Well, hmm. Isn't there like a private? Yeah, that's a good question because I have a private chat. Just send it here, Aiden. Send it here. Send it here in the chats. I'll catch it when I see it. All right, Saad. It's all up to you, Saad. Let's see what happens. Yep. 14 and started at 13. Cool. MMA. Don't get it. Sammy, thank you. My work is sitting in front of a computer all day, but I feel my body's not ready for my evening judo or gym sessions, even after a good warm up. Any suggestions, please? Start on the ground. Wait, let me read that again. Well, gym sessions, like, what do you mean? Like lifting weights? Well, lifting weights, you just start with light weight. That could be a way of, you know, to warm up your muscles and your joints. Start with light weights, work your way up, you know. So let's say the first set you do like sets of 20. So if you do sets of 20, well, obviously it's not that heavy, right? And you go slowly, control, always nice and controlled. It's not a race, right? Warm up your muscles like that. In judo, yeah, man, like you got to be more careful with judo because But usually if you get to the class, right, like your class should be, they should properly warm you up before they do anything. So like if it's not enough, then you feel you're not warmed enough, you could talk to the coach and say, hey, like I don't feel I'm warm enough. I'm a little bit worried. I don't want to get hurt. And maybe they'll make you do some more stuff to keep you warmed up, right? But in judo, I know that starting on the ground helps a lot. Like let's say you do general warm up, and after that you do newaza, so like ground fighting, some ground techniques, and some ground randori. Even like you're on the ground, so it's not even that dangerous. Which is like BJJ basically. So that would be my take on it. Panos Street. My dad used to work for this guy. My mom used to call him Panos. He was an Asian guy though, so I'm not sure. I think the name of the pastry store was called Panos. Hey, what's your opinion on Kyokushin Karate? I watched Fighter in the Wind, and I thought that was like a great, what do you call it? Movie, right? And yeah, it was pretty hardcore, man. Like the guy, basically Korean dude, lives in Japan, got like pretty much shitted on by the Japanese and all that, and just went crazy and trained on his own. Found the Book of Five Rings from Musashi, trained himself in the woods and all that. Okay, so anyways, it was a cool movie. Now, in regards to Kyokushin Karate, man, those guys are conditioned. Like they hit really hard towards the body. Like they kick, they punch. Like the problem is they don't hit each other in the face, which is kind of like in their competition. So it's kind of um, not like super realistic, so to speak. At least the competition aspect of it. But man, they're tough, man. They're tough, But I feel as though it changes the game. Like if you practice Kyokushin Karate, so your body is super conditioned. But the thing is, when somebody gets hit on the face, it changes the game completely. And even Mike Tyson said this. It's like everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. So yes, they're very good at smashing their opponent's body to bits, and they're really tough. The problem is if they get punched in the face, then how are they going to react, right? And then there's also like you have to know how to take a punch, roll with the punch, and if you don't have that experience, it's a weird thing. Like you're gonna like you start hitting someone in the face, like flinching is a real thing, right? Especially for beginners. Beginners flinch and they look away, so they get like a punch like this, and they're like they turn away like that. So yeah, turn away in a fight, see what happens. Bad freaking idea, and it's a reflex that you have to train out of you, right? But if you're never worried about that in actual training, because you don't train for that, it's like you're just blocking, punching, like just hitting each other and you don't care kind of thing. It's like, yeah, whoever breaks first kind of craziness. Then yeah, okay, sure, your body's really tough, but how do you deal with a hit to the head, right? That's different. Yeah, like some people might argue, yeah, but they would block it. Yeah, but that's it. If you start, it changes the game. Like if you open up, you start blocking, you're gonna open up like other things for the opponent. And if I start hitting your body and your hands drop and I crack you in the face, it's gonna change the direction of the fight, so to speak. All right, next one. I checked out that judo school I told you about last week. Bunch of kids, not really any adults. Yeah, judo is like that sometimes, man, because adults are all broken. So I've been looking at BJJ school. They've come. Ooh, Camarillo. Yeah, Gorilla just going to check them out on Monday. Dude, I think you're in California, right? I think that's a great idea because if the judo club is only a bunch of kids, you're not going to get much good practice there. I mean, no matter how good the kids are, they're kids. Like if you outweigh them by 50, 100 pounds or whatever, whatever. But Dave Camarillo, yeah, he's a judo guy as well, man. He's like a very what's that word I'm looking for? Not decorated. I think maybe decorated judoka or like he's a very good judoka with I think he even won some titles and all that. Like he's a high level judoka, and he's high level jiu-jitsu guy. So it would be, I think you would definitely um, benefit from going to train with him for sure, instead of that judo club that only has kids, right? Who will win, Islam or Charles Oliveira? You think? Islam. Islam's gonna kill him. you know, like Islam has like, I think, better ground game, better takedown than Khabib, and better striking. He's like Khabib 2.0. So anything can happen. Not 100% sure, but if I had to bet, Islam. I don't see Islam getting submitted on the ground. Like once he takes Oliveira down, he's going to beat him up. That's the way. That's from my perspective, because his grappling isn't just regular wrestling. It's mixed in with like sambo and all that. So they're very good at what they do, and they know how to defend against submissions. They're not just like American wrestlers that aren't that sharp. Like their skill set is top notch. Like their wrestling, their control, their top game, and their sub game and all that. Like it's very high level. So I think that Charles isn't going to be able to submit Islam when he ends up on the bottom, and he's going to get beaten down. He's going to get like punched to oblivion. And yep, that's how I see it going. And I'm actually trying to make it. I might make. I'm trying to make a bet with one of my buddies, because he's like, "Oh no, Charles, yeah, blah 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 blah," but he just don't understand. He doesn't wrestle. He doesn't pay attention as much as I do to the sport. He doesn't know what it is to get Khabib'd, to like, he doesn't understand the level of wrestling there is, and like the pressure that you could put on somebody, and then how technical these guys really are. Like Dagestani wrestling / sambo, like whatever those guys are doing over there, it's a different game. It's a different level than the type of wrestling that the Americans are used to. And like Brazil isn't known for their wrestling, to be honest. Let's see. Tons of uchikomi. Start slow, then pick up the pace. There you go. Eric knows, baby. Eric knows. Actually, that's a good idea. I didn't think about that. It's a Greek name. The Greeks. Sparta. No, wait, they weren't Greek. Yeah, anyways. Taekwondo or karate for MMA. Yee. I would have to say karate, because they actually punch, and you got like you could actually develop skills that are maybe more, that carries over better. Like look at Machito. Machito was doing really good with his karate style for a little bit until they figured him out, right? And what's the other dude? Wonder Boy. Yeah, Stephen Wonder Boy Thompson, Wonder Boy. So he comes from a karate background too, and he's doing really well. Now, if I say Taekwondo, who No one. Okay, maybe what's his face? Benson Henderson, right? He used to be in the UFC, but now he's in, I think he's in Bellator now. He was like a big Taekwondo guy, but he had a big wrestling background as well. And then he learned how to box. And his kicks were pretty good. But what's his name? Anthony Pettis. He has like Taekwondo background as well, and he did the Showtime kick. He jumped off the cage and kicked Benson Henderson in the face, and that was pretty cool too. So they could both be useful for MMA. If you had to pick one, probably karate, I guess. Because I think there's more karate guys that carried that over better in MMA than Taekwondo guys. I think. I'm just, Which is easy to learn, boxing or MMA for competition? Boxing. Right, guys? Come on. You're only punching a guy, then you get, there's a lot to it. It's actually a science. It's like, tack, 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 tack. the head movement, the blocking, the slip, this, the that, the reading the opponent, the angles. Like it's a beautiful thing. But boxing, yeah, boxing will be easier to learn because it's just one discipline. Whereas MMA, it's like everything, you know. Panos, I'm training Kyokushin karate and boxing and competing in training karate and boxing. Okay, awesome. Competing in kickboxing. Cool. I want to transition to MMA. What should I train? BJJ, judo, or both, or something else? Well, you're gonna need to know BJJ for sure because you don't want to just be taken down and get submitted. Then you're gonna need to have something for takedowns. Now, something that carries over that you can learn faster, right, is wrestling or Greco-Roman wrestling. That's even a little bit more better than freestyle. Now, judo, the problem is that you have a gi. You don't have a gi in MMA, and it takes a while to get good at judo because you have to like learn like the uchikomis, the kuzushi, the hips and all that. So it takes a little bit of time to get a handle on that. And then after that, you have to get used to doing it like without the gi. So you see how like there's a lot of steps to it, and then you got to like modify it. Whereas wrestling is just wrestling. Obviously, you still got to modify it because you can't just go in there and straight wrestle somebody. You get like kicked in the face. But Greco-Roman, because they're more upright, they're more like upper body, like grappling, and then they throw you from there, right? And judo is kind of the same way now because you can't grab the legs anymore. So it's like upper body only, and then throwing the gap. But the problem is you have the grips. So let's see now. Let me just reread it. But if you can, both would be great, because in BJJ there's no gi BJJ, and in judo you could just take off the gi and practice. It's not going to take a genius to figure out the grips, for like the underhooks, the this, the that, like for to adapt your judo to no gi, so to speak. My gym also offers catch wrestling. Sambo and BJJ. Which one should I train in first? Okay, I didn't read first. I was gonna say all of them. Train everything. Like I'm that guy, right? So I'm like, yeah, do everything. That's what I do. Works for me. But if you have to choose one, catch wrestling, sambo, and which one should I train first? I mean, okay. Is it because you don't have time or it's just too expensive? Because I know it can get expensive if you try to train like multiple disciplines. The clubs, they charge you more and all that. I would say I like wrestling first, man. If you had to choose the first one, wrestling, because that's going to help you in sambo and BJJ. Definitely. Right? Yeah. I would say wrestling. I like wrestling a lot. Next summer. Don't remember what context. Yeah, in California, Central Valley doesn't teach anymore. I think it's one of his black belts. Want to add some boxing, kickboxing later, but not sure which one. Boxing. I like boxing, man. Dude, like, here's the thing. One of the reasons why because I only started boxing like regularly at a real boxing club, for about 4 months now. And man, it makes a difference. It makes a difference in like just the footwork, the head movement. Obviously, it has to be adapted for MMA, right? Because you can't like bob and weave and go too low, you get kicked in the face. But man, like the hands, the footwork, and the head, like and slipping and all that, like it makes a difference. And the thing is, even in the sport of kickboxing, right? If you do kickboxing, what happens is that your kicks are gonna suck and your punches are gonna suck, right? For a period of time. So maybe, I don't know, a year or two, they're going to suck. But if you do boxing first, this, man, after that, you come into kickboxing. Okay, you learn how to check a couple of kicks or whatever. Okay, but you could outbox most kickboxers. Like, if you do 1 year of boxing versus the guy who does 1 year of kickboxing, you'll knock him out. You'll knock him out in a fight. In a sparring, you can knock him out because your hands will be like high level, right? Then you go there, like, okay, you learn how to block a couple of kicks and all that, you'll knock him out. Most knockouts happen with this. Like, it really does. So hands are actually a lot more important, and they take less energy to throw than kicks. If you're kicking, it's like it takes a lot of energy, man. It has to be properly set up as well, So it's good to, of course, it's fun to kick people and all. It's always fun. It's fun to hit them, punch them, kick them, choke them out, break their arm, all that good stuff, right? But this, man, this makes a big difference. Like, if you have this, after that, adding the kicks afterwards and knowing how to check them, you don't even have to kick all that much. You could just like learn how to check kicks, move out of the way, block it, and then after that, this, bah, dead, you win. Now you can just check my account and I'll be there. I said it as public. Okay, where? Check my account. Check my account. Oh yeah, about the video. Yeah, I don't know what you mean, man. Like, what do you mean check your account? Like, because I'm on StreamYard, so I just see you like this and that. You'd have to send me like the link. I don't know if you could send it here, like in the chat. Saad, which easy to enter, UFC or Bellator? Which one pay more? I'm guessing the UFC pays more, man, and probably Bellator. Bellator seems to be like, as far as my understanding, Bellator is like where UFC fighters go to finish their career, kind of thing, right? It seems to be that type of organizations, or maybe some people actually come up in Bellator and then go to the UFC. So I think UFC pays more. I'm not sure because I've heard that like I've heard that only the top guys actually get paid well. The others, they don't get paid much at all, man. But everybody has different contracts, I imagine, and they probably have like standard contracts for different types of guys coming in. I mean, okay, first contract you have, it's this much if you perform, blah 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 blah, and so on. So. Greco-Roman or freestyle wrestling for MMA? I would say, I think they're both good. I think it's going to depend on your style, to be honest. Like, if you like to take guys down, right? I feel as though freestyle wrestling would be probably a bit more useful. If you like to not get taken down, keep it standing, but still mix it up, you want Greco-Roman, right? Yeah, that's my take on it. Because Greco-Roman teaches you how to stay upright, okay, and get your grips and wrestle and grapple from a standing position. And then when you get your grips or whatever, then you can throw the guy, right? So I think that it's different. Me personally, I like to because I do both. I do freestyle wrestling, but I also do judo, and then I've also been looking into grappling Greco style as well. Like, I kind of have to self-teach myself, but I mean, I already have like a judo background and a wrestling background, and then I just watch a couple of videos, like buy a couple of courses, on adjusting the grips and all that, and I can understand how to position myself, and I practice it so that. But I like Greco a lot. I hope that answered your question. So for MMA, like, if you had to pick only one, I would say freestyle. But if you already have like no, you need freestyle. Honestly, you need freestyle because you have to be able to defend the single legs and the double legs and all that crap. So if you don't have that and you only do Greco, you might not know how to defend your legs, because in Greco it's all upper body, right? So now if you don't have that, if you don't know how to defend your legs, then you get you into trouble. So I would say freestyle. You think it's better to learn gi BJJ or no gi, or just mix it up? Mix it up. Mix it up, 100%. No holds bar, Rokas versus Dr. Phil. Wait, you mean Dr. Phil, the TV host guy? You know, the guy with the show there, like he has like a bunch of people talk about their relationships and shit. Like that guy? I think. Oh yeah, I think Rokas would kill him. You know, for sure. YouTube site Precision Striking, awesome. Boxing YouTube site Precision Striking. I think I might know. Yeah, I'll check it out, man. I'll check it out. Precision Striking. Gotcha. You extremely like to have either catch or understand, but both. Wow. You guys are talking among yourselves. Awesome. Okay. It is the only video on my account, but you can't send links. I've tried 5 times. Okay. Well, what's your channel called? I'll go check it out now. Okay. Saw it. In street boxing or kickboxing, will win if wrestling versus judo. Which one of them more dangerous? Judo. Okay. So in street box in the street, boxing or kickboxing will win. I think boxing, because you don't want to be kicking too much, and yeah, boxing, I believe, right? But it's always going to depend on the guys fighting, the dude, right? It's always more about the individual than the art itself. Like it's if you could make it work, you can make it work. That's what I'm saying. And if wrestling versus judo, which one of them would be more dangerous in a street fight? Both can be very dangerous, but I would probably give judo like an edge there. Judo would be probably more dangerous because if they launch the guy and he lands on his, because judo is like a lot of upper body throws, so they grab him and they just throw him in the air and smack him down, like crash him to the ground, right? Whereas wrestling, they might take, like, the only thing that's really dangerous in wrestling in the streets is the suplex, like the belly to belly suplex, which is more Greco style, or like suplex from the back. You take the guys, you're in the guy's back, you clamp on his hips, and you rip him. Like that's dangerous. But judo, like a lot of things in judo, is like the guy just falls, and like if the guy doesn't know how to break fall, he's gonna break his head, break his face, and whatever. It's a horrible time. Any tips for success in MMA? I would say having a good coach and good training partners. That would help tremendously for you to be successful in MMA. Yeah, my gym is one of the few grappler specialty gyms in the area. I want to look for new arts ad. I choose also freestyle, not Kodokan. Oh, freestyle. So that means you get to grab the legs, Kosen style. I like that. Favorite Tekken character? You know what? I never really played Tekken all that much, so I don't actually know the characters. But I like in Street Fighter. I like Ryu because I'm so original, just like Mr. Fireball guy. Ken, I feel like as though he's like just like Ryu, but not as good kind of thing, like rich and spoiled. So whatever. But that would be my favorite guy in Street Fighter. And yeah, Lucky. There you go. Okay. Michael's like Paul. Oh, there you go. Just when I think I got into the end. Do you know UFC fighters that only know Muay Thai and Jiu Jitsu without wrestling and they succeed? Yeah, so like I said, like back in the day, now it's a lot harder, but back in the day, you had Anderson Silva, you had Jose Aldo, uh, Hinan Bara. I forget his name, but he was good for a long time, man. He was beating everyone up, choking them out. Like all the Brazilians, man. Think of it. All the Brazilians were basically, Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu guys. Okay, except Machida. Machida was karate guy, but I mean, he knew BJJ as well. And what else did he know? Yeah, he knew BJJ. Cool. All right, we're at the end of the questions. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, let's see now. It's like 10:28. 3-minute video. Bruce Lee spot. Yeah, let's do this. Oh, another question here. Man, you guys just like to talk. That's amazing, man. All right, let's continue chatting. Okay, so it's been about an hour and a half now. I'll do another half an hour if you guys have more questions. What are your thoughts on semen retention? Does it help increase physical and mental power of someone who wants to be a lifelong martial artist, or is this just a myth? I actually have some interesting thoughts on this. So I've actually been studying yoga and practicing yoga for maybe, I've been slacking off since the beginning of this year, to be honest. But last year I was deep into it. So the one, like I do hatha yoga, right? So this is taught by obviously a teacher, but those teachers are, they all went to India to learn hatha yoga from Sadhguru. So Sadhguru, if you guys don't know, he's like an Indian yoga yogi, mystic, and all that good stuff. And so I practice. I was really deep into it. So I read all the books that Sadhguru wrote. Not all of them, but quite a few of them. I took all the yoga classes, like all the 5 practices. I took them. I went through like the inner engineering thing. I did the meditation thing and all that. And one thing he talks about is actually like semen retention can actually be converted into like something called OJAS, OJAS. And this is kind of like a life force thing. I forgot exactly what it is, but if you look it up there on Google, it's going to explain to you what OJAS is. So it's kind of like if memory serves, it's kind of like a life force thing. And if you're able to retain your semen and do the proper practices, it actually becomes like a life force thing, and it can be used for, like you said, like physical and mental like powers and something, right? On a spiritual level, and I think even on a physical level, like it could bring you to like another thing, another level. So, but and yeah, so if you're a lifelong martial artist, it can help, but it has to be done with the right practices, from my understanding. Now, is it a myth? Well, the thing is, the problem with most yogis, it's not a problem, but those guys don't fight. It's like, it's not even important to them. Like, like the only thing that's important is spiritual process, which means that all they care about is, spiritual process, like working towards liberation, working towards enlightenment, right? Because it's the only thing that matters to them. So if that's the only thing that matters to you, and that's the only thing that brings you like the ultimate pleasure, the ultimate joy, the ultimate bliss of knowing um, the nature of existence and non-existence and all that stuff, like they don't fight. So that's the thing. Like you will never see that, because most of those guys who might actually be able to do that, to retain that semen and turn it into some kind of life force, they're using it for spiritual process. They're not using it to go in the cage and beat the crap out of someone. Right? Okay. So I think there is something to it, but no one has been able to do it. No one has shown that they could do it yet. All right. So for the most part, it might actually just be, so if you don't have that process in place, like semen retention is just probably torture for most people. Oh my God. Okay. Kamzat is going to kill him. He's going to kill him. And I think I said this in the last week, but I think that he talked too much. Nate is talking too much shit, and Dana just wants to like kick him out and get it and have him murdered. So he gave him Kamzat. So yeah, Kamzat, like maybe second round at most. Yeah, he's gonna beat the living piss out of this guy. And ooh, poor Nate, man. Poor Nate. There's gonna be blood. Yeah, Ken always seemed like a spoiled pretty boy. Ryu seems more hardcore. Oh yeah, Ryu, man. Every time he fights, he just walks away. He doesn't even grab his medal, whatever. Just walks away, and he's like, "Oh, he's looking for the next fight," because it's only through fighting that he's going to find the answer. He doesn't even know what answer to what. He just, I think he just likes to fight. Yeah, yeah. Ken, like they're actually buddies that were trained by the same master. And then what happened was that, well, Ken is like a yeah, he comes from he's like a spoiled rich kid kind of thing. He's still cool at the end, but it's we all know that Ryu is better than him, right? Because he's the one that did the fireball first. What is the fastest submission? Like easy to apply without effort? Rear naked choke. Yep. Some Muay Thai fighters they have sticks to condition their shins. Do you hone where they sell it? Do you know where's the name of the stick exactly? I don't know, but you could probably use any stick, man. That or just kick the bag. Honestly, like I watched a couple of videos on it, and I believe this to be true. Just kick the bag, guys. Kick the bag. Kick the bag. It not only do you get to work on technique, right, and you get to practice your kicks, but they're conditioned at the same time. You know, and it does the exact same thing. It's going to desensitize your skin and kill the nerves. You know, if you smack that, and of course you got to give adequate time for it to rest. But yeah, just kick the bag. You don't need to do all of that stuff because it's it's kind of a waste of time. You know, you're better off using your time to kick the bag. And remember, guys, time is the most precious commodity in life. Like, no time, finish. You mean a bag? Yeah, just go to a gym. Yeah, but I know what you mean. I don't know where to buy a funny stick. Just, just get a stick, man. Any stick. Doesn't matter. You know, and if you really want to beat your like put a towel over it first there, and then beat it like that so that you don't just like destroy your skin and bleed all over the place, until it'll toughen up anyway. But I would put a towel over it and then beat it, right? If you really wanted to beat your shins. There you go. Thanks, Eric. Herbal oil. Herbal oil. If Judo Black Belt versus Bjj Black Belt, who would win? I like to say judo, right? But a good judo black belt, like I'm talking like national level, and a BJJ like high level competitor, I would say the national guy would win obviously in a judo match, but in a BJJ match, probably the BJJ black belt guy will win. Oh yeah, I think you could order that shit. To be honest, like you can. I remember there was a guy in at the club. Like he got that Thai herb oil thing that you put on yourself when you get busted up. Kind of like the Thai version of Tiger Palm. Tiger Palm, like being like the Chinese thing that when you get busted up, you put that, and it's just like it smell. Honestly, I love the smell. Like I could smell that crap all day long. I kind of grew up with that, right? There one question above. Not sure what you mean. All right. Hey, where's hmm. Oh, look. There you go. All right. So it looks like there's no more questions, guys. So that's cool. What time is it? All right. So no Bruce Lee breakdown tonight. So I'm gonna try and keep these like an hour, like an hour and a half at most. An hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how I feel. But definitely an hour and a half. I think that's fun because I enjoy hanging out with you guys and chit chatting and answering questions and checking out videos and all that. But we could do that if you guys have videos of yourself doing something, or you want a video that you want me to break down. Just hop on, send me the well, I think you guys can't send me the link here, but what we could do is you could just type in like what channel it is, and then I'll type it up here. Oh, about Israel Adesanya. Oh shoot, I missed that question. Sorry, buddy. How Israel Adesanya? He's good wrestling. No one can submit him. While we have blue belt only in BJJ. Well, a belt is not the only thing that matters, right? You got to remember that even though he only has a blue belt, he probably trains with a lot of wrestlers, right? And he's a tall and athletic dude. And when you're tall, strong, and athletic, you have leverage. And he probably trains with a lot of guys who are trying to a lot of guys who do know wrestling and who do try to take them down. Because if he's not being, if people aren't trying to take him down, it's because if people aren't able to take him down at this point, it's not because they're not thinking of doing it. It's that he's able to not let them do it. And if that's the case, that means that he's training for it. He's training for it. He might not be he trains like anti-wrestling, anti-takedown. Like he's not he's not the one who wants to take people down, but he doesn't he knows how to keep the fight standing in the middle of the cage, get off his back. If he's on the cage, get back up and all that. Like he does train that. And of course they give him his blue belt because probably, when he puts on the gi, he trains a little bit. So he gets, he got his blue belt, but that doesn't really mean it's not indicative of his actual skill set for MMA. Because you guys have to remember that MMA is a sport in itself. So if you practice a sport, you have to get good. You have to understand the rules, right? And then get good within that context. Right. So that's why it's like, just because you're good in BJJ doesn't mean that you're going to perform well in MMA, because it's a different sport. I know there's a lot of similarities in the sense that, oh yeah, it's martial arts. No, it's a sport, guys. So, for your sport in MMA now, you have to know how to wall wrestle. You have to know how to take down against the cage. You have to know how to defend it. You have to know how to get off your back. You have to know how to stay on top, and you have to know all these things. You have to know how to judge distance, because that's why striking in MMA is very different, because you're able to take a guy down. It changes everything now. It's not the same thing. Like the pressure, the timing, like the setups, everything is different. The angles, because now you can take a guy down, so you can't just be doing pure kickboxing and boxing and not know any of the other stuff. Okay. Hey, what happened? Okay, there we go. Opinion about stoicism. That's pretty stoics. I read, I don't know if I finished it, but I did read at one point Letters to a Stoic. Very interesting. Very interesting. Oh, you're Greek too on top of that. Yeah, the Greeks, man, they came up with a lot of shit, man. They basically invented philosophy and mathematics, if I'm not mistaken, and the Olympics, and did some crazy stuff, a really good stuff for humanity. Yeah, I think it's stoicism. Definitely, definitely, I feel a good masculine framework / philosophy for life. Definitely. I didn't really deep dive into it, but I do I did read that one book, right, at the time, and I felt as though it was very insightful, right? And a lot of things that they say still apply today, which is pretty insane, because that was thousands of years ago. You and I both. To answer Saad's question, we had national level judoka from Korea, who is now the head coach for Judo Ontario. He fought some BJJ guys, submitted him. Yeah, man, it just goes like that, man. And the thing is, I remember I did this. This is back when I was doing BJJ, so I didn't know any judo. And then I come in, and it was a competition. It was a IBJJF competition, and the guy I went against was a judo guy, and he threw me. I landed. I broke my rib. I didn't break it, but it wasn't a break. It wasn't a fracture. It was maybe a hairline fracture. Yeah, so let's just call it a fracture. So he, whatever, busted up my rib. He threw me. I don't remember what he threw me for. I just remember it's like going up in the air, going, doing like a flip in the air. Him landing on me, crushing my rib, like back, holding me down, passing guard, submitted me. Done. That's how it goes down. Like if you don't have a judo background and you get thrown, yeah, it could be very painful, man. What advice would you give to someone who is lost in life, finding a career or find a martial arts for life? What do we someone who is lost in life? Well, here, let me think here because I actually want to give an answer that has some kind of that might actually be helpful and valuable. If you're lost in life, well, I think martial arts should be mandatory for every man, right? Because there's a lot you can learn from martial arts, especially art like judo, where there's a lot of culture behind it. There's a lot of, it's based off, it's very samurai-ish, in their approach and all that. But if you're lost in life, man, you gotta, well, I think that me personally, this is the way I see it. I think that you gotta find your purpose in life, and your purpose is your purpose, right? So it's not like universal. It could be anything. Like me, it's really to be the best martial artist that I could be, even though I'm 43. So for me to be able to do this, I got to keep my body intact, and so I could keep doing what I'm doing. I don't plan on ever stopping. I don't want to coach. I don't want I thought about coaching at one point. I'm like, yeah, F this, man. It's too much a pain in the ass. I got to babysit people, teach them, and then they ungrateful. They don't show up and all kinds of stuff. And whatever, man. Screw that. There's no money in it anyway. So I'm like, I don't want to be broke as well. So, but me, this is fun for me. This is like, I live for this. So martial arts is what I live for. This is my purpose in life. What is is there, so everybody's different. You have to find what gets you going, right? So that could be anything, depending on what you enjoy, what your experiences are, whatever, you have to find your purpose. It could be, for example, saving dogs, street dogs. Like I actually love dogs. So that's probably going to be something in my future, it could be, for example, cancer research. I don't know, it could be building the fastest car on the planet. So you got to find a purpose, one, right? And your purpose might change, but as long as you go after something and it's what you want to go after, then yeah, you're going to see life is it's going to be good that way. Now, what is the meaning of life? Life is the meaning, right? That's why yoga. So that's why, because when you practice yoga, that's when what they teach, of course, this is something you have to experience for yourself. I'm not saying I experienced it, but I think I've gotten some glimpse of it through meditation and practice and all that. But the meaning of life is life itself. But we're not experiencing life to its fullest potential, because for the most part, we're unconscious. You don't know what's going through your, imagine the level of intelligence that's going on in every single cell of your body to keep you doing what you're doing right now, to be conscious, to even understand that you exist, to be able to think, to be able to heal, to be able to this. Look at this. This is magic right here. Now, if you were to really awaken, so to speak, and touch this so-called source of life, then what happens is that, yeah, that is the meaning of life, is life in itself. And for you to experience life the way you're supposed to be experience it, like you have to go through a spiritual process. But yeah, if you're lost in life, don't worry about it. Like, find something you want to do, go after it 100%, right? And then you won't be lost anymore. That's my take on it. I know it's simplistic. There's probably a lot more moving parts to it, but you got to give yourself a purpose, whatever that may be. Purpose may be shift over time, but overall, I mean, it took me a little bit of time, but that's my purpose now, like just to be the best martial artist I could be. And YouTube allows me a platform to share my journey with you guys, to grow a channel, to develop a community, and so that I could have a lot of fun. Right, doing it alone, kind of, it's not that fun. It's better to have a whole bunch of people with you, friends. Okay, hope that helped. Who could beat John Jones? Nobody. As of now, nobody. I think he's invincible. I mean, not invincible. Obviously, he's human, so any human can be on any given day. But I mean, no one has beaten him yet. Right? Exactly what I just said. Jesse Lewis, hey, welcome to the show, man. The channel. Exactly. Ta-da. All right, Eric Lee. Bring goggles when you fight. Oh yeah. John Jones, Mr. Eye Poke. Poke your eyes out. All right. What do you think are the best macros to cut fat, get ripped? High protein, low carb, keto, or just do a 50, 30, 20 protein? Well, the more protein, the better, right? Because protein has like thermal effect on the body. So that means that like because your body needs to use calories to burn off the protein. So that means usually, if I'm not mistaken, it's like every 100 calories of protein you consume, like it's only going to end up being 70, because 30 are going to be like needed to, to actually process it. So, what do you think are the best macros to cut fat? Well, this is what I do, right? Everyone's going to be slightly different depending on like your activity levels, how you work out and all that, how much muscle mass you have, all that good stuff. I would say for me, I stick to, I don't really count, honestly. At this, like I have in the past, but it's like for short periods. And I've been a trainer, so I've coached people. And here's the thing: protein for the most part. Okay, so proteins, fats, and maybe some fruits. Like during the day, and I'll eat carbs generally after my training sessions. Then I want to like reload my body with carbs, right? Because because I just worked out. So that's what I do. And that's it. Not more complicated than that. I only eat like 2 meals a day, to be honest. And I'm fine with that. But I think that people make too much of it. I think that you have to, here's the most interesting approach that I ever heard, and I think that it makes sense. So what you do is that you eat. You have to figure out what you want to do. Do you want to eat in maintenance? Do you want to eat in a deficit, or do you want to eat in a surplus? So if you want to eat at let's say at maintenance, okay, then you multiply by 15, your body weight times 15. Okay, that's going to give you approximately how many calories that you should eat for maintenance. Now, if you wanted to eat at deficit, you would want to eat, you want to go like times 10. So your body weight times 10. So now if you know that, for example, if you're a 200-pound dude, so 200, right, times 10, this is assuming that your body fat percentage isn't like insane. Like you're at like anywhere between 10 to 15% body fat, which is what I recommend for everybody. So that would be 2,000 calories. So like what you want to do is, let's see, for every gram of for every pound of body weight, you multiply that by you just round it off, right? It's usually um, what do you call it? It's 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So that means if you're 200 pounds, you want 200 grams, 200 grams of protein. So 200 grams of protein times, let's just call it 5 instead of 4, because 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, but we just round it off because the protein you're going to eat, there's going to be a little bit of fat. So if you take 200 times 5, that's going to give you 1,000 calories. So you eat 1,000 calories. If you eat 1,000 calories of protein, and then the rest you eat whatever else. As long as you stay in your a deficit, you'll be fine. If you eat a lot of protein, of course you'll have that thermal effect and all that, and and you work out hard, you're gonna be ripped. You're gonna be pretty ripped. Now, and you can eat junk too. Not ideally, you want to eat healthy foods, but it's gonna happen. But as long as you're in your deficit, like your deficit range, you'll be fine. And if eating that much protein, it's going to put you in a deficit because protein has thermal effect, right? So it's actually less. Like if you're consuming 1,000 calories in what do you call it, in protein, you're actually consuming 700 calories. So now if you add another 1,000 calories to that, so that's 1,700 calories. 1,700 calories, dude, you're in a deficit, man. And if you're working out hard, you're gonna be lean as f, right? So I hope that made sense. I know I kind of went on it, and maybe I hope maybe you guys can follow me, but I actually made a video on that. I don't know if it's out yet or not, but yeah. Meaning of life is 42. Mm-hmm. I'm 43, but okay. Excellent answers to our questions. Thanks, Makis. How do you pronounce that? Mikis? No. Mikis. Is that Greek, by the way? Anyways. But thank you. I appreciate that. Love from Malaysia. Hey, Malaysia. Awesome, man. Hey, what language you speak in Malaysia? Is it Malaysian? Right? Or is it, or like Singapore? Like, what did it, because it's not Chinese, right? I don't know. You think fasting makes a difference? Makes a difference. Oh, like you mean to get lean and all that? Oh yeah. I fast. Like you guys ever heard of this book called, I read this one recently. It's called the Metabolic Blowtorch Diet by, I forgot his name, but he talks about fasting and how the best way to do it is to alternate your days. So for example, if you're on Monday, you don't fast, you eat normally. But on those days that you don't fast and that you're eating normally, so whether that's 3, 4, 5 meals a day, whatever, then that's the days that you work out really hard, right? On the days that you do fast, you don't work out hard. You could do cardio, right? Light cardio, but you don't work out hard. And when you fast, you want to fast for anywhere between, you want a minimum of 16 hours, actually 15, but whatever, 16, because most people are used to like 8-16 kind of thing, right? So minimum 16 hours, ideally 20 hours. And if you do cardio on top of that, man, you're going to burn off so much fat. And of course, you eat like that meal after your fasting period is over with. So you alternate that, right? So Monday, no fast. Tuesday, fast. Wednesday, no fast. Thursday, fast. Friday, no fast. Weekends, if you can, fast on both those days. That accelerates like the whole fat burning process. Okay. And that in itself works, but I mean, you still have to be cognizant of how much calories you're intaking. Okay. Because it does something to your body when you fast. Like it kind of like gives it time to rest and all that. And it puts it into like fat burning mode and yada, yada, yada. So like, you're accelerating the fat burning. But if you eat like a freaking maniac, like when you do eat on the days that you're not fasting, you eat like a pig. And then on the days that you do fast, within that one meal that you have or two or whatever, like the meals that you do have, you explode your calories, then it's not going to work either, right? So, but you could definitely accelerate if you're able to eat, control your calories, keep that in the calorie range that where you're still at a slight deficit, you know, then and you exercise on top of that, and you do like what I just talked about. There's the book goes into a lot of details, but that's the gist of it, honestly. From meat sweat. English. Huh? Oh, Malaysia? Really? Cool. I heard Singapore have like a good tax rate. Like the tax is low there, but you have to go through some maneuvers and all. But yeah, I'm watching you from Saudi Arabia. Hey, that's awesome, man. Cool. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm happy. Oh, is that so? Your real name isn't Saud. Saud is just short for Saudi Arabia. That's cool, bro. You guys laughing and shit. Yeah, like Mike. Mike is. Aha. There you go. We speak Mahasa. We do speak English too. See, Eric, guy, should visit Saudi. Yes, one day when this channel grows, I'm going everywhere. I'm gonna hang out with you guys. I'm gonna do some stuff. Like I want to get this channel really big, this community really big, and I'm looking beyond just fitness and martial arts, right? Fitness and martial arts. Obviously, this is like what I'm about and all that, but I got other plans too as well for the channel. Like I want to do some good things for aspiring athletes or athletes who are aspiring like world champions, fighters, martial artists, and stuff like that. Like I'd like to give back. If when this channel becomes as it grows, I'm definitely going to do something to help my fellow martial artists, and do something for the dogs, man. I really love dogs, guys. Like I got a dog, and I think every man should have a dog at one point in his life, right? Like it's the most loyal thing, you know. Like there was but yeah, if ever you guys get lonely and you're lost, dog can help, man. Dog can help. Get a dog, gets your mind off of yourself. Oh, that's another thing too. It's in the head mostly, man. Like people get lost in their thoughts, right? And they identify with their body and their minds a lot. And that's why if that's all there is, like they go absolutely insane, man. It's like they think, like this, oh, how come I can't like that's why if you create that's what yoga is for, right? Too, right? Is that it creates a separation when you do it right. It's supposed to give it's supposed to make you realize that you're more than just your body and you're more than just your mind. Like your brain is it's just like a computer, right? So if you're able to detach from these two things, that's when you have perspective and you're able to control it afterwards, right? So that's the whole idea. Just got home from judo. What did I miss? I would say a lot, man. So the official language of Malaysia is English, according to Eric Lee. And then, of course, it's not true. It's Bahasa Melayu or Malay in Malaysia. And of course, we talked about a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you missed. Man, how do you find to train so much? I would love to move to Canada from Australia just to get coaching from you. Oh, thanks. Appreciate that, man. How do I find the time? I just make the time, man. Like I structure my life. At one point I decided, this is really what I want to do. I just want to train all the time. I don't really care about anything else. Like if I won the lottery, man, like and I didn't have to work, this is what I would do all the time. Not this. Like obviously I would stream and hang out with you guys and all because it's fun. But I would literally be training all the time. I'd go to see my I train in the morning, and then after that I'd go home, take a nap, get a massage, get some physio, get like, read a book, play video games, come on here, chat with you guys, boom, go back to, training in the evening, then go home, eat, take a nice hot bath or whatever, play some video, whatever, and like hang out a little bit, go back to sleep like 10 hours, wake up, train again. Like and then I would compete at the same time. Like this would, like really, literally want to be like the best martial artist that I could be. And, that takes time. And yeah, so getting back to your question, how do I train so much? I make it a priority, so I structure everything I do in my life so that I could train. So that means that like if like for example, like I stop work early because I still have a job, guys, right? Like I do sales at this. I used to coach people, but I got tired of that because just helping people lose weight. It's like, honestly, guys, it gets redundant, but working with martial artists and helping them lose weight and get fit and jacked so that they can continue doing martial arts. And that is interesting to me, but just helping like your average dude, or like average Joe or fat girl, whatever, like lose weight. It's did it for a little bit. Don't like it. Don't enjoy it. Whatever, man. And people don't listen, freak. So it's like, yeah, whatever, dude. It just keep eating your donuts. Well, what I was saying is that, so now I do sales, and I do sales for this other fitness coach that likes to do that kind of stuff. And I control my schedule. So what it is that if I train at 6:30, you'd be damn right I ain't finishing. Like I'm working late. Like if I have judo, that I train every night. So Monday to Friday and the weekends. So Monday to Friday, I have trainings at like starting at 6 or 6:30. So I always finish on time, like around 5-ish, so I could go train. Like I won't take a job where I can't train in the evening and on the weekends. Like I'm not doing it. I won't. I'd rather make less money and suffer, right? And just eat less and buy less crap than not train. Like that's how that's how I structure it. I give 0 F's about like, no, I'm not letting anything getting in the way of my training because it really is to me like the priority. Right? I do not care about anything else. Like if I have to sacrifice, like if you tell me like, oh man, you could make $10,000, but you can't train anymore, I would say no. I'd be like, yeah, whatever, just give me $500, I'll live and I'll go train. I'm like Ryu practically. All right. Okay, where was it? Hey. Oh, there we are. I heard judo training in Japan even made an American Olympian like Raggy Ferguson quit. Really? Yeah, Raggy Ferguson. It's Dr. Ratty Ferguson guy. So I'm not sure what he's a doctor of though. But yeah, Ratty Ferguson, judoka, high level. I think he was on the national team for the U.S. and I think he did some Olympics. I'm not sure, but I know it's a big name. Like I recognize him. Like he was in some videos with Jimmy Pedro. Well, I'm not surprised. Japan is pretty. Well, that's where it came from, right? It's lucky to be in Montreal. The best judokas in Canada train in Montreal. Yeah, that's true. I think that's true, man. Like the in Montreal, it's where a lot of guys come from elsewhere in Canada to Montreal because we have the INS here, and yeah, we got good judokas here for sure. In Japan, what judo training in Japan? Japan? In Japan, I tried. I've been to Japan 3 times, and the first time I actually visited the Kodokan, but I just went inside and took a couple of pictures here and there. I wasn't doing judo at the time. I just wanted to go there because, I was a BJJ guy, but judo was still something I was always fascinated with. And yeah, so I never trained judo in Japan. But yeah, next time I go, like right now, I'm really focused on growing the channel. Once the channel is big enough and properly set up, I'm definitely gonna go have a spin a little bit all over the place. Like I got my judo coach from my first judo coach was from France, and I was supposed to pre-pandemic, pre this whole thing, I was supposed to go down there and spend a couple of weeks and train there with him, but that didn't happen. But I'll definitely be, you know, globe, globe hopping from whatever country to country to go train in various places. Like I'd like to train in France. I'd like to train in Japan, maybe Dagestan. That'd be pretty cool too. Do some wrestling there. Where else would I like to train? Oh, there's Tiger Muay Thai. You know, in Thailand, I would like to do that as well. Go to the States eventually. Going to the States, there's a lot of gyms there that I'd be interested in training at. And yeah, man, I'd be down 100%. And then it would just make for more fun content for you guys as well, right? And I could set it up so that we could all meet up somewhere at one point as well, big training session together. Kodokan is like the video game we played. Only the top guys can go to the top floor. Really? Is that what it is? The Japanese, man. The Japanese. Them guys, the gaijin downstairs. Is Muay Thai training incomplete without drinking alcohol and smoking? I think so, man. I think if you're doing Muay Thai in Thailand, you gotta be smoking, drinking, and hooking up with the prostitutes. I've been to Thailand. Thailand is cool, man. Like I found it even more impressive in terms of size, like the city, the skyscrapers, and all that, than Japan. So yeah, it's pretty. It was in Bangkok, pretty cool place. I'd go back 100%. Street food. Street food is the best. Like I remember some dude telling me like, oh, if you go there, don't eat the street food, or you're gonna die. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. And then I went there, and all I ate was street food. And this fool, when he was there, he was always eating in restaurants and paying like a premium and drinking like water only out of bottles. I'm like, dude, like just get a couple of vaccines before you go. You're good. Like stop being a wuss. I'm luckier. Just came back to judo after an 18-year hiatus, and I get 400 per week, about 10 minutes from my. Oh, nice. I want to roll around like a savage. Savage. Hey, you guys know Wakanda Savage? So I think he's like a gamer, but he's jacked though, and he's always like making these shorts, where he's like narrating like these knockouts and shit like that, like savage. Can't do it like him, but really cool guy. Really cool guy. Got to get him on a show one time, but I'm not a gamer though, so maybe I should start playing games and talking crap. People have to be self-motivated to lose weight and get healthy. Oh yeah, definitely, man. I mean, at one point it's like, man, you're gonna do it or you're not gonna do it. You want to be, you don't want to, don't. And unfortunately, it comes with a price to pay, right? Like your health. I believe in being ready for action, combat ready, being in shape, and it feels good, man, to be able to, like there was this quote from, I think it was Plato or Aristotle or one of them Greek philosophers, the great Greek philosophers of the past, and they were saying how no man should be an amateur in, I think, fitness and in combat, maybe, but definitely he said fitness. Something like it's a shame for you to be a man, be a human, and not experience what it is that your body is actually capable of. And I think I believe in that, man. I believe that, like, if you don't, it's like you have a machine, like you have this amazing machine that can do amazing things, right? But you sit on your ass and eat donuts, like, guy, it's like having like a Lamborghini, and all you do is like sit in it and listen to the music and just rev the engine, vroom, 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 and then put the music on, flash the lights. Like, what the? You don't want to drive that thing, fool? So that's the way I see it. It's like ultimate machine, and you're gonna bust it up. I don't know. That's just me. How do you do weaving and bobbing? Like how many months to do it perfectly? Well, I mean, you got to use a mirror, definitely, right? Like you want to be in front of a mirror and like to see if you're doing it properly. But you also have to you have to understand what it's supposed to look like. So once you understand how it looks like, that's why boxers they tend to use the mirror a lot. Like even Mike Tyson said this, like the mirror is actually your best friend because you could self-correct. If you understand what something is supposed to look like, when you do it in front of the mirror, it has to look the same way. So if it doesn't look the same way, it means you're probably doing it wrong, right? And of course, from there you have to actually practice, like drill, you know, like slipping, bobbing, and weaving punches, right? You can't just do it in the air. That's why you could use a what do you call it? You know the bags like it's not a speed bag. It's that bag that on a rope and it just goes back and forth like that. So you could, that's a really good tool. And of course, you got to do some drills with somebody actually throwing punches at you, and then you got to do some sparring, but light. And how long does it take? Depends on it depends on you how often you practice, and then it's going to depend on what methodology you use and what kind of training partners you have to help you out, right? That's why training partners is important. For boxing, don't know, Saad. Raymond Diaz. Hey, Raymond, how's it going, buddy? Nice. I see you are progressing in YouTube. Yeah, I'm trying to, bro. I'm trying to. You know, I'm doing these streams now every Thursday at 9 p.m. So I always say I'm gonna run it for like an hour and a half, and but then after that, you guys ask questions. I start talking. We start having good time, and then we have good time for a long time. But yeah, so this weekend I'm actually going to film. I'm going to start filming in the gym, like tutorials on techniques, you know, because before I was kind of like, oh man, I wasn't at gyms where I was able to film. And then now, like, I am. So, but I was kind of gun shy about doing it for a little bit. But now that, you know, I've been working with a new editor and he's helping me manage my stuff as well and keep me organized and structured. So now we're gonna do it. You know, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it this weekend. I'm gonna do like different type of formats. So I'm gonna do like podcast, live stream. I'm gonna have some randori live streams as well during the week. Then I'm gonna like edit those and put those in a form where you guys see me fight and all. I'm gonna do videos where I'm actually showing what I'm working on in terms of technique and all that for all the sports that I practice. So, you know, like boxing, kickboxing, judo, jiu-jitsu, well, yeah, jiu-jitsu too. Yeah, jiu-jitsu guy, wrestling and all that, right? And even lifting weights. And I'm gonna do a whole bunch of stuff for you guys. I'm gonna have like some really cool content, and I'm gonna vary it up. And what else am I gonna do? Yeah, I got big plans for this channel, man. I really want this to take off and to become big. You know, like when I see guys like uh, it's funny, but I actually get inspired by watching like guys like Mr. Beast and like PewDiePie, and you know, because I look at them and I'm like, wait a minute, these guys are like the biggest guys on YouTube. I'm like, why? And then I watch them and I'm like, okay, PewDiePie, okay, whatever. You know, just a guy talking about video games. And I think that's how he started. Yeah, look at Mr. Beast, and he's like a fat, skinny guy. And what does he do? Like, that's like, in my opinion, stupid shit, right? And I'm like, these guys are big, dude. Okay, so all that to say that, yeah, I'm planning on leveling up and making this into growing this community and this channel as big as I possibly can, you know, and then having a good time doing it and bringing as much value as I can to you guys, and yeah, just hang out with everyone, man. Don't you want to do more physical collab with other judo you, for example, Shintaro Higashi Shadi? Like, yeah, 100%, man, 100%. You know, but you see, what you guys have to understand is that to do that, I have to get to them, or they have to get to me. So Shintaro is like, I think in New York. I can't go to the States right now, guys, because like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I might have mentioned it in a few videos, but I have a criminal record, right? Like that OG isn't just for old guy. Like I was a bad mudder. I was a troublemaker in my 20s, and I did some time. I did about 18 months, right, for drug dealing and shit like that. So I mean, I still have to get a pardon here, and then I gotta get a waiver to go to the U.S. And also, you need time and you need your finances to be in order to be able to do that, to go see these people, right, to travel. Shadi is also in France. So definitely, as this channel grows, okay, and I'm able to, uh, as it grows with the help of everybody here in the community, help like participating like this, watching my videos, sharing it, and all that good stuff, then I'll be able to make better and better content. Meaning, I'll be able to travel, I'll be able to do collabs with YouTubers and all that, and of course, like I don't like talking is fun, but doing is funner, right? But we start the way we start, and I'm kind of a slow starter that way, I guess. Like when I started off, I was just talking, talking, talking. And even now, it's just talking. But now I'm gonna do more stuff where you guys are seeing me do stuff. But definitely, that's something I want to do as well. Like do collabs with other YouTubers, but in person, right? And but for now, like I got to focus and grow this channel, and then when the time comes, definitely. Yeah, actually, my coach knows Shintaro too. He's actually one of the guys I want to reach out to do another podcast with. So that'd be pretty cool. And Shadi, I think I'd like to do another one with him when I get my black belt, because he just got his black belt recently. Try mud wrestling in India? Yeah, I'd be down. I'll wrestle you Indians in in India. Show you how it's done. I'm not sure about Turkish oil wrestling though. That's a little bit too sexy for me. But mud wrestling, like, is it just because it's in the mud? It's supposed to. But what about my like? Doesn't that stuff go in your eyes and you go blind? But anyways, what's this? Hey, Free Spirit. Yo, what's up, Free Spirit? How to not fear from fighting? You gotta fight. Yep. Get used to it. And that's the thing, right? Like it's scary at the beginning, but just keep going at it, and you'll develop skill, and you'll get desensitized to it. Let's see here. Shadi moved to Japan. No, he didn't. He went to Japan. Wait, did he? No. No, I know he went to Japan, and he went to Dakota Can, trained over there, and got his black belt. But I don't think he moved to Japan. But I might be wrong. Maybe I can start a YouTube channel. Should have captured my tour when I visit Having Fun TV and see. Yeah, definitely. Like, I think that if you're passionate about something, and you wanna like eventually, how do you say it? Make something, like be able to do that for a living. YouTube is actually really, really powerful, I think. And there's still time to get in on it. Like I've heard from people that like if you wait too long, it's going to be harder to get in and all. But I think now it's still like growing, so it's still easy to get in and to compete, so to speak. Because when you're on YouTube, you have to remember that you're making videos, but you have to understand how to rank them too. You have to understand how to set it up. You have to build your audience, build your community, and that takes a little bit of time, right? And and now it's like there's so much information out there that people are coming in with a lot of knowledge, a lot of courses they take and all that. And yeah, so anyways, what I'm saying is that it's a grind, but so it has to be done like with something that you really can talk about your whole life, in my opinion, right? That's just me. It's like I could talk about fitness and martial arts my whole life if I wanted to, like, because that's what I'm obsessed with. But yeah, it would be cool. Then I could collab with you, man. You can collab with me now, man. I can set you up in a podcast and we can talk judo all day long. We could start there. Hanpan TV are hilarious. I wish that. What is Hanpan TV? Hey, back to what you were saying, Eric. Send me what do you call it? If ever you want to like hop on a podcast and talk, yeah, like send me an email. We'll talk, or just call me. Yeah, send me an email. I think the email is down below in one of my videos. Like there's, so it's ogfitness 1979 at gmail.com. Yeah, use that one, right? And yeah, hit me up and we'll talk, man. And then from there, I just give you my number. We'll call each other to talk, and then we'll set something up. Yeah, I like talking to you. Like the guy I did the podcast with, Andrea Molly, right? I actually met him through when I was doing when I had my own online coaching business, and I was like just like reaching out to people on, I think it was on LinkedIn that I met him, and then we started talking, and it got really interesting, and we did a podcast together, and we're still friends now. We chit chat here and there. Anyways, Hanpan, I wish they had more. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, Hanpan, you guys have to fill me in. What the heck is Hanpan TV? It sounds Japanese. They're really nice guys. The twins are really nice. Okay, you guys are talking about something I don't understand. 85. I am 85%. That Chadi said he moved there. Oh, okay. Was that in his videos or Fluid Judo Japan's video about him going over there? Interesting. Yeah, I talked to Chadi actually this morning. Like we're talking about what do you call it? My black belt exam coming up and all that stuff. And then I asked him when he was getting it. He was like, "Dude, did you see my post?" And I checked out his post on IG, and I was like, "Oh, he got his black belt." So I was really happy for him, man. Oh, on the wrong thing. Yeah, so Shadi, Shodan in judo, also 44. Oh, yeah, it's true. I remember you mentioned that you were, I think we're the same age, so 44. You're actually a year older than me. I'm 43, a year or maybe a little bit less. And Shodan, yeah, awesome, man, awesome. Aha, Hanpan TV, our channels from two Korean judo. Not really. Wait. Oh, that's a YouTube channel? Oh, shoot. Let me write that down, man. Where's my pen? Hey, Eric, you in Toronto, right? In Canada? Canada? Hanpan TV. Judo National Team. Korean Judo. Okay. Oh, but it's in Korean. Is that it? Hanpan TV. Korean. Hanpan TV. Oh, check it out. Cool, man. All right, guys. It's 11:25. I gotta go walk dog, and I want to eat a little something. Tomorrow morning, probably got some videos coming out. So, by the way, I'm gonna get. If you guys ever have ideas on people that you'd like to see on a show, let me know on a podcast. And I got this one guy. I found this one guy like recently, and he's it's called Combat Self Defense. Really interesting guy. I like his videos. He has a really interesting take on martial arts in general. And yeah, I'm gonna reach out to him. I'm gonna reach out to a couple of people, set up some podcasts, and then film a whole bunch of stuff. Get the show on the road. Become a YouTube sensation. In Toronto, I can talk about judo all day long. So yeah. Same here, man. Same here. Oh, sorry, I didn't. Got to show the comment so you guys know what's going on. There you go. Okay, awesome, man. Yeah, so reach out to me, man. Here, let me type in my email. 9@gmail.com. But right, send me an email, and then from there I'll send you my number. We'll chit chat if you want to see when you're available. We'll do this on a Thursday. Water. All right, guys. I'm gonna call it a night. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. Really appreciate it. Had a lot of fun, and I'll see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thursday, 9 p.m. And yeah, I'm gonna keep this, man. I like hanging around and do this, answering questions and all. All right, guys. Take care. Have a good night. Have a good rest of your week. Be safe on the weekends. And yeah, I was gonna say, don't forget, go out there and train. But Ramsey Dewey says that I don't want to steal his line. I had to come up with some other crap. All right, guys. Peace.